Well, it's another day, continuing on this project of insulating around the window and the top of the stairs. And yeah, so far what I've put down insulation on the one side, at the back, towards the cupboards. You can see, it's quite interesting actually, if you look at the video, you can see my little triangle where I've put the insulation against that wall. It's already working. You can see where I haven't put insulation, and you can see a really dark blue line where the window skylight or whatever it is poking up through the roof. So that's going to be dark blue. Yeah, but eventually what I'm going to do, I don't know if I said this before, was I'm going to put foam board, insulating PIR or whatever it is, up inside of the window frame there, and then put drywall over it, plasterboard, whatever you want to call it. So hopefully that'll make a big difference. But for this year and for right now, it's such a huge loss. I'm not going to worry about that top part sticking out. Having no insulation here whatsoever. Be nice if at least we can save some energy from just shooting out through the roof. So anyways, I'm going to continue on today. I'm going to try to get the long side that I can get at. I'm going to put the vapor barrier wrap around it. I'm going to do it onto this side as well. I'm not doing a great job of it, but it's okay. It's such an old house. I'm doing it just to give it a chance, you know what I mean? To try to stop any moisture from getting in. And then I'm going to string up with the wires, the 200 mil insulation around the edges. And yeah, and then I'll finish doing the 100 mil on the between the joists, and then I'll do 200 over top of everything else. And then that'll be pretty much what I'll do for this big side of it. And then I'll have to transfer myself across into the other sort of zone of the roof where I can pick out some more debris from that side and then do my best to kind of get insulation on that part of the wall of the window. But it's only about a foot, so maybe a little bit, 16 inches sort of thing. So I'll put that along there best I can. I'm kind of stuffing it in and jiggling it along. But yeah, hopefully it'll make a difference. So far it looks like it is, even just from my little camera. You can see a much warmer spot. And that's from the inside looking out. So it's doing something, which is the whole point of this, right? Anyways, let's get to work. Hopefully I can finish a good portion of this today. We'll see. Well, it's another day. Last night my cameras died, but basically I managed to get the side of the window well, 2 sides done. And then I've got this one side here left to do, and then I've got the other side, which is the little teeny bit, I don't know, 1.5 foot, something like that, to do. I have the 200 mil down there on the far side, so I'm kind of done with that side for now. While I was pushing stuff through, had a little bit of a wall collapse here, which is, while it's startling, it's not, you know, it doesn't feel right, but there's no structure in this here. So from this section here, below, they're 2 or 3 tiles deep, and they kind of overlap and make a bit of a thickness to it. Everything up here is just 1 tile, and just kind of laid in side to side on top of each other, and I don't know what the purpose of it is. They're not really doing anything because there was a huge big gap along the top. Now, whether this was some sort of fire break back in the day, or if this part of the roof would stop it from spreading, I don't know. But it doesn't really serve much of a purpose because I'm keeping it as a cold roof. It's, you know, the air's got to go through all the areas anyways and kind of flow around. So it's not going to make any difference. I may build it back up again just for whatever, and maybe in the new year as a sort of a secondary project, but I'm not too worried about it. But what I am going to do is I'm going to insulate up to this on the edges. So all the way down the 2 sides of the walls. So from the ground, or from the top of this ceiling up to about here, I'm going to do the same thing where I wire and press against the wall, the rock wool, onto these 2 sides at least. And that should help keep a lot more heat in. And then it just kind of like isolates that whole area. So that'll be something I'm going to get going to. I've got a lot of debris to bring down here, some tiles which I'm going to keep because they're in pretty good shape, and I can just put them back up if I need to. What else? I've got the other 2 sides to do around the window, and then I've got the 200 mil to do here, and then down the little kind of pathway, which is kind of open now, but it used to be a lot more tight. So that's the goal for today, is just try to get the insulation here down, maybe start on this side here, but at least to get to this side over. On the other side of the wall, where I can't really reach, I'm actually going to take a section of these tiles down on that side. They're mostly broken anyways, and there's just about this much space, and that way I can squeeze the insulation in and get a full coverage all the way around the window well there. And yeah, anyways, let's see how we get on today, making progress. Well, it's time for the next part, which what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a vapor barrier just sort of on the lower half of this. I don't know how effective it will be, but we have some, so I might as well use it. And then I'm going to use a roll of rock wool along here. There are some rolls of rock wool, at least one, and then just kind of go up to this level here, because that's where the ceiling hits. So I don't need to insulate all the way up there. There's no point. We don't need it insulated. So try that, and then I'll use those wires again to keep it pushed against the wall or pinned against the wall. We'll see how that does. Let's get to it.